Hey, welcome everybody to Battle Pirates Crib. We're going to be talking about the new calendar, CM Diary, how Bounty's going, and probably more about the new calendar as far as the layout of things to come. Let's say hello to everybody. Magic Mike,
Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing fine.
the Saint, he's replacing Tyra Banks this week.
G'day, everyone.
hmm And Derpy's glad about that.
Yeah, like I said in the pre-show, I like Saint a whole lot more than Tyra Banks.
Okay. Well, I don't know what that says, but
Yeah.
TSM
Hello all. Good evening.
and KB.
Hello, hello.
Hey, there he is.
Alrighty, let's get rolling. All right, bug fixes. I guess we'll go to the second one. Had anybody been at Max Storage and actually saw that problem in action? You went ahead too quick.
I went back. I thought you just said go to the next one. Sorry.
No, okay. No, I'm saying, did anybody run into this issue where if you were at maximum storage, your mines were not depleting? But it doesn't sound like anybody is, so we can go ahead. All right, the March calendar, which I teased a special event on Thursday. Um, Looks like we're getting one. But let's move ahead. We're in Bounty right now. High Ground is currently going on. For Everest and Cloudbreaker, Everest build tokens. Personally, I've noticed I don't really need to do it. So, but if you're low on the tokens for your Everest, go ahead and grab them up. There's plenty of build tokens in there. There's I think eight for the normal Everest and 5 for the Cloudbreaker. But remember, you do have the
No,
12.
there's only 3 masteries.
But they show up earlier. Let me double check my numbers. Let's see. You get 1, 2, 3. Okay, 6. Okay,
Yeah.
6 Everest, and then 4 Cloudbreaker Everest.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Alrighty. And let's. But if you need them, go ahead. Let's go ahead and take a look at Derpy's BP next week. One more click. All right. I guess the main thing in here, we're in shipwrecks right now. Some people love, some people hate. Golden Nexus is also going on. And then Saturday, we are tomorrow at 3 p.m. Kickside time, Pacific time. We'll get the Kickside employee bases back. So I know Derpy, what?
If they clear the canal. Never mind. The joke didn't work. Go.
I like that one.
Okay. Okay. So Derpy, you're a fan. I know you're a fan of the shipwrecks. How does everybody else feel about it?
Never did.
I personally don't bother.
Yeah.
No,
I
I
don't-
don't
We did
bother
it
either.
1 month. As a yeah, I mean obviously these are alliance. We did it 1 month and then, which was fun for a bit. But that was it.
Okay.
It turned into too much of a coin fest.
Mm.
Well, I haven't lost yet.
Yeah, that's the
think
problem.
I'm,
You keep on going against Derpy.
I'm 6-0 against those. Haven't spent a single coin. Haven't lost. But I got bored of them after 1 or 2. I did not play them nearly as much as I probably should have.
Okay. And are they, if you're in the situation that you are, as far as time to points on shipwrecks, how does that compare to the Kickside employee bases?
Kickside employee bases are probably a better payout.
If
Okay.
you can find ones to hit.
I heard a rumor they're going to be in a locator next time.
Okay. And also the 109 is going to get pushed up The 109 target is going to get switched to the captain difficulty, so more points for it. So,
To be honest, I can do that one for about 25 minutes damage only from those corrosive mines. I don't think this is their biggest issue. I think the damage to points ratio is way off for a whole bunch of other targets.
okay. All right. And
And the fact that they keep making changes so whatever I do doesn't work.
they're changing the bases in real time?
Yeah, yeah. I
What?
figured out the 122,
Mhm.
and then they changed it, put in a turret. Okay, so let's take out that turret with hell swarms. A few hours later, they move that turret.
Well, I
It's all
guess.
Derpy's fault.
That's my fault.
Yeah. Alrighty. Just a reminder, you can spend all of this week's FM points and not have to worry about getting a jump ahead on your Ravager, which is the next hall raid, which we'll talk about later. And so, yeah, but start saving them next week. And all right, with the brand new and the debut of the new CM calendar for April. One more click. Much different beast than what we've seen before.
Take a look at the one on the left and the one on the right. Do you think the one on the right copied the one on the left?
Well, this more looks like his looks more like your BP next month, and this is your BP next week.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it's closer to that one. I did wish he would change the dates as opposed to being calendar. They would be according to the Battle Pirates week, which starts on Wednesday, or Tuesday, whatever day you want to consider it. But that might be an improvement. But I like the formatting generally. Besides that issue, and I'll save it for week 5 on the calendar. I'm looking forward to that, but we'll get into that in a minute. We have Spring Reckoning, which is a special event, which starts on the 1st. Does anybody think this guy's the CM is gonna do any sort of April Fool's joke? I don't. I doubt it.
Is he clever enough?
I'll bet you he does April Fools. I bet you it isn't very funny. I've got one plan that I think.
Don't they always do one though?
Yeah, they generally always do
Yeah,
one.
generally always do one. You're just saying what the quality is going to be like.
Well, but we've gotten a downturn in the amount of effort, so creating like a fake something would require effort. So I'm not sure we'll see one. All right, there we go. And then the following week, April 4th through 10th, we have Pillage and the Siegebreaker TLC, which provides you with 8 Reclaimer build tokens, 5 Reclaimer upgrade tokens, and this I'm finding to be a Derpy. What's Return to Honor?
That's Ronan's.
Okay, that's right. So we're all getting both the Siegebreaker TLC, which is going to provide you with the 5 upgrade tokens. Pillage, if you just participate in Pillage, you are going to get another upgrade token. If you get in the top between 61 and 363 or something like that, you'll get 3 24-hour upgrade tokens for your claimers. So just something to keep in mind. But I'm not. If we take a look at this calendar, personally, as somebody that I don't participate in bounty, I bet I don't even know what the percentage is. What do you think? 35% of the players that participate in the raid participate in bounty?
Yeah, it seems generous.
25?
Yeah, about that.
Okay, so if we take a look, 2 steps back, Mike. All right. So we've had the raid. We've had the VXP weekend, which is done pretty quickly. It was actually no effort this time around. Titan Rising, Mega TLC, Shadow and Flame, a PvP TLC, nothing for people to do. Bounty 42, unless you do Bounty. High Ground, everybody seems to be caught up on it. And Creeping Barrages, Trenchers. So again, nothing to do unless you're, into PvP. And then you have this special event, which we'll get into a little bit, but it's basically skins and old tech. So 3 weeks in a row where there's nothing to do. I would prefer, personally, to see the Siege Reclaimer show up in either, in this instance, the VXP weekend week or in the Bounty week. This third week with the special event doesn't always occur, but 3 weeks of doing nothing but the FM, I don't think it keeps the player, a good part of the player base engaged in the game. And I think it's a mistake to be 2 more clicks, Mike. I think it's a mistake to keep the players not doing anything for 3 weeks, and then you see this April 7th that now you have 2 of basically the 3 activities that you do every month pushed into 2 weeks, and 2 of them into 1 week. Any thoughts, anybody?
Yeah, I prefer to have the whole specific TLC, Siegebreaker, or whatever the Tier 10 Assault one's called, those types of things for the brand newest one. I prefer those to always be the week of Bounty or a special event week with nothing else, if that makes sense.
Now, I'm not sure why they keep running the mega campaigns, because really they haven't done anything to megas for how many years?
Well, I clicked on mine accidentally yesterday, but that's the last time I've touched it since they in 5 years.
Yeah, I mean,
because they're not really releasing anything new for it. So what's the point in doing it?
no idea. No idea what the plan is there. It just seems like they're removed from at least what a majority of the player base is involved with and participating in.
Yeah, I think they've been moved to the coming soon bundle.
Yes. And it appears that we're going to see the same pattern occur this upcoming month, because we see the raid, Industrial Revolution, and then Hold the Line, and then we have VXP weekend, TLC, PvP, and then we have Bounty, Everest, and then the one I'm looking forward to, and I think I'm going to have pictures associated with this one. I'll effort some pictures on for the Wednesday show, the Titanic Ascension. So that one, I'm excited to see what they're going to do with that one.
Yeah, that's how they're increasing player retention.
Yeah.
Certainly got my attention.
Yes. So that leaves, with the number of Wednesdays in April, that means that the next week is going to be Pillage and whatever they call the next Raid Hall specific TLC will happen at the same time, and then the raid. So again, now we're going to have 2 weeks of nothing really to do besides the FM. And this is fine for some percentage of the player base, but I don't think it's the majority of the player base. And personally, we talked about on, I think last Wednesday, not this previous Wednesday, but the one before, because there was nothing to do, I started playing the Doom from 1993 and, just found other things to do, because there was nothing really to do of interest in the game. And, I think I'm going to have pictures associated with this one. I'll effort some pictures on for the Wednesday show, the Titanic Ascension. So that leaves, with the number of Wednesdays in April, that means that the next week is going to be Pillage and whatever they call the next Raid Hall specific TLC will happen at the same time, and then the raid. So again, now we're going to have 2 weeks of nothing really to do besides the FM. And this is fine for some percentage of the player base, but I don't think it's the majority of the player base. And personally, we talked about on, I think last Wednesday, not this previous Wednesday, but the one before, because there was nothing to do, I started playing the Doom from 1993 and, and it seems like a pattern that they're wanting to repeat.
I guess we need to be careful what we ask for, though, because we have complained before that every weekend seemed like a raid. We don't want to get back to that where you got to sit down for hours every weekend to play. I agree. There's literally not a lot to do this weekend if you're not playing Bambi, but
I'm just asking for them to return what they were doing, not this month, but the previous month, where you would have in this instance the Siege Destroyer or Siege Breaker TLC in the week with either VXP weekend or Bounty.
yeah, okay. So it's the timing of the TLC rather than having a full on raid or full on experience every weekend, because the TLC didn't take long, did it? So that was pretty good.
Well, this one didn't, but some of them are backbreakers or siege breakers.
Yep.
Some of them are. I mean, and again, when you do when the Siege Breaker TLC shows up on April 7th, you're going to want to use your Gladiuses. You're not going to want to use your Reclaimers.
Yep.
Because of the short range. But it just, I don't understand how they feel like they're winning in this. And they're like, oh, okay, well, we're going to stack everything up in Pillage Week, and we'll do the Pillage, and we'll do both at the same time and force coins out of people. How does that work relative to 3 weeks where they're not doing anything but the FM? And maybe, okay, well, I'm finding other things to do with my time. I don't think it's a good move.
No, I think the only thing is this time at least it's different fleets, whereas previously it has been the same fleet sometimes on the same weekend for different activities, which is even worse.
Oh, so what? Oh, I forgot. What fleet is it going to be? Well, it's still going to be the
Still be the Everests.
Everest and
what did we use last time? Didn't we use?
Oh, it's
Photon
is-
ECMs, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Photon ECMs. This is what I specify in my calendar, my monthly calendar, that they don't, is the holes required and the prizes for the different things.
yeah, but it's So all right, I guess we're done with the calendar unless anybody has anything else.
I do notice Prize Pool 6 and Prize Pool 7 is back.
Okay. Well, all right.
Useless information.
If we're done with the calendar, is there anything else? Let's move forward if we're done. All right, CM Diary. This is the next raid in a couple weeks. 2 new S targets, 1 new X target, and a retuned A target. And we have the Hall, the Ravager, the Spleen Blaster Scattergun, and the Zinth bolstered. It depends how you say it, what it is. I think it's an engine.
Which one?
It depends how you say it. The Zinth bolstered
Bow
or bow.
or bow, huh?
So I think it's bow, and I think it's an engine.
Well, the bow's the front of the bloody ship.
Yeah, but a bow, like a bow and arrow. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's an armor type thing rather than an engine.
I think it's the engine. I think it's it's the front of the boat, provides the, aerodynamics, Zinth bolstered. I don't know.
Well, if you're bolstering the bow, it sounds more like an armor type thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, unless it's providing energy to make the water split in front of you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Captain Lockheed. Is it a bow or a bow? A bow, like a bow and arrow, would provide offensive, but bow. I think it's bow, and I think it's an engine.
If it wasn't scatter guns and it was missiles, it could have been bow, because the bow and then the missile could have been the arrow. But it's not. So yeah, you're probably right. I think.
And then we have the limited assault special, the chaff splitter system, and then
Don't you dare touch my chaff. I don't know what this name is. I don't know what they're trying for.
At least it's not chap splitter. So,
well, we know what chaff is.
We know. Why not? Yes, I'm just saying. It sounds like it's you could go two different ways. Like it's an accuracy type of thing, because it overcomes countermeasures, or is it a countermeasure special that makes your chaff more efficient, and by creating more of it, like if you had as an example, we don't have we do have some multi-shot countermeasures, but if you created more multi-shots, that would be the other way to look at it.
Yeah, I'd say it's for countermeasures, because assault generally has countermeasures on the ships, doesn't it? So, all the availability, it's not always worthwhile putting on, but yeah, I think it's that actually may have may be wrong on the assault special, because that chaff splitter may also have the engine mods in it as well.
And then I'm assuming the last one, the limited assault special preview, is what's going to be in the FM, the acid diffusion shells, which sounds like it's going to be something that's going to probably increase damage, a damage special for the scatter gun.
Logical, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Any more? Because if the next step is going to be bounty, any more on this this look to the future that they provided us?
So only really that if with scatterguns obviously being that it's corrosive, that if we've got incoming corrosive, obviously don't forget none of your crews will work, because it'll be area effect damage again, which is evade's not going to help you and that sort of stuff again.
Well, we're doing corrosive scattergun damage. They are probably doing missiles as well.
See, but we did that part before, and the missiles are normally counterable, and if they're doing two damage types, then the scatter isn't. So.
And if we got scatter guns, it's going to be short range.
Short range, and that's my concern. And it's hard to evade, and hard to miss it, because you can't drive it. That was the issue last time.
Guaranteed damage.
Yeah, it was hard.
Fusion refers to accumulation of fluid in an anatomical space, usually without oculation. Subdural. Okay. Like say you get
water on the knee.
Yeah, or you get a good shot to your thigh, and you get this bruise that keeps on building up, and that would be subdural. Below the skin, you got to build up a fluid. Mastoid, I think that's within the muscles. Pericardial is around the heart, and pleural, is that the lungs?
That's lungs.
Yeah, okay. So yeah. So I'm not sure how that, it just means it's going to, maybe it's a splash special involved with that. That sort of sounds splashy.
But you're right. Yeah, range is already a concern, and then evading incoming damage, because you can counter missiles, but if there is corrosive as well, which there hardly is likely to be, then you're scuppered.
I really hope it doesn't look like the Zealot. I hated the Zealot because of the short range combined with the moving ships, and then in my mind not going. You have all these auras on the outside. And it was hard for me, especially with the moving ships, to always be like, okay, this white one this white range circle is what I need to aim for. All the green one and the other color and all the ones outside do not really matter, and that I don't like.
Worse than that, like on the Ronins, is they're getting very lazy with the all the counters work at 90 degrees to the to the attack face and that sort of stuff. It's becoming boring. Move on, do something different now.
Yeah, I hope it's not the 69 range. I really don't like. I don't like.
Yeah, I've had
that.
enough of that. It's been churned around too many times now.
Yeah, especially with moving ships. I don't mind it as much with Siege, but with everything's stationary because you can go and plan things out. But with moving ships, it's, I don't know. My mind has been tuned to something else as far as where my range is. My range is normally the outside one, not like 3 in that I have to figure out. So I don't know. Maybe, as Derpy says, I'm getting old. So maybe I'm just not too set in my ways. Alrighty. I guess the next is people want to talk about. Well, we don't want to talk. Let's move to let's move forward one more because I think we have a bounty slide. There we go. Bounty 42. So, does anybody have anything they want to discuss relative to bounty?
Got a few things, but others can go first. I know Debbie's done a few videos. I haven't this time. I think the targets have been fluctuating enough where actually doing videos is almost pointless because they keep changing the content inside them. Whether it be the ships or whether it be the turrets, even from day one, they've and halfway through the first day when the kickside targets were there, they changed. Interesting that obviously, as people went out and coined straight away the 2 extra PvP ships, which served no purpose whatsoever when they stacked them to try and chase into your base because they just got splashed out. So that was a bit foolish of some individuals. I think the Badger is a pretty decent hull. Obviously, you can build it 2 ways. You can make a stationary one or you can make a moving one. I think the moving one works better than the stationary one. Not only the fact that it can't be obviously sniped out, but just the way that it obviously produces extra damage when it gets closer. And if someone stacks one of those chases you down, I think you've virtually had it before you can get into the base. Mines are still an issue as far as I'm concerned. There's still a glitch and people are still abusing it.
Mines are still an issue? Is that what you said? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by that there are 2?
Volume.
Oh, with people with...
Oh, if they had like 16 in before, they still have 16 in?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think he's talking about if they got 2 and they're able to put more than 2 in. Wasn't that the glitch?
It was fixed, but they didn't take out extras of those who had extras in.
So if you could actually spawn a 4 of each and put them all in your base, and many have still got them in there.
I had 4 in at a level 1, but I took them out because I felt bad.
I would think if you're going to build anything out of bounty, build a Badger, because there's no point going collecting stuff if you're not going to retain it. I mean, that's why I look at the game personally. But I know a lot of people, or some people, they don't care about the base. It's all about hitting. More the older crews or the bigger alliances, I get that. But they're also under more pressure to retain what they've already got. But most of them have got identical bases. Very few have got something original. So, and that's across all the alliances, I think, at the moment. There's only 1 or 2 designs that actually works. But yeah, I think it's, as I said, 4 weeks ago, I think it was last on here. It swung in the favour of the base defender massively, and for some it always was that way. But I think it's definitely coming around for the bulk of the individuals who've got their bastions started to at least 1 or 2 built by now, and the fact that obviously they're getting some of those tier 10 turrets up and running now, which if you group them and change to the right faction, they function well. I'm not a great fan of the mortar myself, just because of the inner range. I think it's too excessive, and most bases, obviously, by the time they try to rush in, they're inside that inner range ring already. So, whilst it does help to keep Basilisk at bay, It doesn't really help for anything else. But it does make people think about things. But most people just charge in anyway. So it does help for swarms, I suppose. I don't know. That's sort of my thoughts. It's not a very exciting bounty. There's very little to pick up in this event. If you're already ahead of the game, you probably need 100k, and that's it. So I was done in the first day and finished. So and that
Only
was
100k.
Mm.
I'm looking at wanting 200.
But that's down to what you want. I mean, I'm not getting any of those mortars. Don't
Really?
need them. Don't want them. I don't rate them. I don't think the arc is correct. I don't think the range in a range targeting is helpful for the bases they are at the moment. Yeah, range fantastic. Yeah, it goes a long way. But so what? There are better turrets out there, I think, if you're going to do them in clusters. That's my thought.
We were sort of talking about it before, and with that big inner range, you actually need something inside. You need a short range turret that can take advantage of the reduced deflection.
We actually need a medium range turret and a short range turret. That's the thing. You need all three with mortars, because then you've got that big void in between, which is a dead spell. Unless you're putting them further back in your base, you're putting them further back in your base, they could be sniped from the outside. So to get, if everybody's doing the classic or trying to do the classic, so you've got the 10 tile space to your OP and all that sort of stuff, which I don't sign up to 100% in all areas. You're going to leave a void in the middle of circa a 40, 2 tiles basically, and you need to cover that with something. Whether you cover that with
the Overlord, which has got explosive damage on.
Yeah, but even
Not a whole
the
ton of
Overlord,
damage.
it's. I think the Overlord's almost had its day already in some of the bases. I'm finding it's not all that effective against some individuals. I've had people come into my base. My Overlord's done very well. It started to be less effective, just by the being more smarter in the way they attack and where they position themselves, and leaving one sort of like one kamikaze boat sitting somewhere so the Overlord takes the pain and onto that particular boat, and the other ones move around and keep fluid in their movements. So yeah, people always work around and right, because it's right in the game. People do find ways around the stumbling blocks. The stumbling blocks are there to be puzzled, and it's a puzzle to overcome, isn't it? So I like creating the puzzle. I've always said I like base defense more than base hitting. I've become a pretty bad base hitter, to be honest, because I do such little of it. But yeah, the mortar is great, but it does open you up, which means you have 3 different turret types, and to have 3 different turret types, you need to pick the right faction to make sure it works. And I think you need at least 3 mortars to make them viable. Then what do you choose in the mid? What do you choose for mid range then? Yeah, because you're then going to have to eat into the short range. Yeah.
Yep.
I've got a replay of the turret here if we want to bring that up. While we're still talking about whatever's going on. I have an unconventional setup here. Like TSM, you said 10 land tiles. I don't like 10 land tiles, so I have these 3 back. So that this scattergun can hit sort of in the channel when they're running through, and that these 2 long range ones. Anyway,
you can do a rear facer.
There's the mortar rear facing, takes out the basilisk in one or 2 shots, and this guy retreats almost instantly.
But then a smart individual will go, okay, I'll nip out. I'll quickly put the 2 coin on that. I'll come in at a certain angle. I'll pull in the trench and that sort of stuff, and have a go from a different angle, that sort of stuff. But I'm not really worried about basilisks too much. I've made a point where actually I almost want people to take out the back row turrets, because it leads them into a full sense of security. Because by the time they've done that, the basilisks are then pointless. And actually, the fact they've got the basilisks there
takes one attacking ship out of
it takes one attacking ships out, exactly that. Because there's no way a basilisk is going to hit you forward on.
No.
So actually, they've reduced their fleet. And by putting in basilisks and that sort of stuff, and if they want to do 2 XEs, if they're going to use a Harrow or something, then they're reducing their capability even less. So, look, 1 or 2 smart players, really good smart players, and there are some out there who can virtually get into any base. Of course they are, but law of averages, 95%, I'm content with. And if I get a 95% win rate, then that's good enough.
Hard to get a 95% win rate when no one's hitting, because base defense is too tough right now.
I've been hit 10 times this bounty, maybe a bit more.
Oh, that's 9 or 8 more than me.
Yeah, let me just have a look. What have I been done? Let me just shrink that down. How many times is it? I'm maybe completely off canter, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times. 11 times. But I always leave myself with 3,500 to 4,000 bounty points just sitting there. I'll make a point of doing so because otherwise I can't get any content video on how well bounty went. So, and it's not to, I always blank out the names of individuals to do the hitting, but it just gives people an idea on at that point in the time in the game, this was how base defense looked.
Yep.
That's the only reason I do it for. So,
what are you showing now, Derpy?
I was just going to show the rest of the defense. I mean,
okay. Well, I'm just saying because this time the Basilisk is not getting shot at. So this is an older design.
yes, this was the design 5 minutes before, and after he hit me, he nearly beat me. I moved the mortar to grab it on the back line here.
Okay, and why did he throw that random rocket at you?
I think he tried to see if it would do any damage to the Badger, and it did 5%.
Okay. I was just curious. It was sort of like, okay.
the new rockets have served no purpose really, even against
They're good against level 4 portals.
But that's it. Yeah.
I think we need new rockets every tier now, which is annoying.
Well, it's inevitable chase then. That's a bit pointless, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's taking up 5 slots for each one as well, isn't it? So,
yeah.
as in 5 rockets for one now. So, I think actually, yeah. So your your OP weapon just fired there. That weapon, well, obviously it creates the mist there, is actually more useful than people realise. Particularly if you can place your OP a little bit further back without it getting sniped out, because if you've got gates that are like a little bit further forward and that's shooting and it's stopping the exterminators firing, because it will do, you can actually knock out, and I've done it, you can knock out 3 exterminators pretty quick because they can't fire back. And you've got some mines, particularly the blue ones, that slow them down as well and reduce their fire rate and reload and stuff like that. They're virtually helpless. And it eats them up.
Interesting.
And that OP weapon is surprisingly good if utilized. For such an old weapon, the fact that it nullifies and stops you being able to fire at all until it goes away. It's a canny little thing to have on your OP. If you
Correct, because it's utility rather than just pure damage.
Pure utility, yes, yeah. It's the utility of it. It's its special capability.
The other thing, the other thought I have watching this is, you're doing bounty at this point, Derpy, and you're probably going to earn claim a 3rd Badger. What happens? Do you need to have a backward facing one if you have the 3rd Badger behind all your gates?
I'm not totally sure I'm understanding.
Well, okay, you have your 3rd Badger.
Yeah, I don't think the Badger will move. I don't think it will. Its weapon range that it shows is only 10. I don't think it will patrol around, look for basilisks over the land tile, because that's a higher range. I don't think it will go find them.
I mean, the smart individual there wouldn't even go to the 3rd gate if they wouldn't charge through, because there's absolutely that's death at the moment, isn't it? So, and you can't touch your overlord, obviously. So they would, I can imagine 90% of people, if not all, try to kill your base without actually going through the 3rd bastion.
A lot of people do. I'm not totally sure. I think he's got 2 different key buildings left here, and he's shooting at one. He's going to try to get the other, but for some reason he starts shooting at the gate instead.
Yeah, that's not the right move, is it? Because I would go forward.
Should just kill the radio tower.
Yeah, and you're done.
And you're done. Although the Great Hall was on the outside here, he's not going to get that anyway.
Which is a time waster. Yeah, which is good.
He released the Badger, and it does enough damage to kill something.
But how do you
see the
fire
little
over
white
the top?
range there is 10. I think that means it's not going to patrol and look for basilisks on the back if you've got one out here in the middle. I don't think it will work. I'm not totally sure. I haven't tested it. I haven't seen it tested.
Yeah,
I don't think it will move.
Because I have a very different setup than yours. And I'm just curious as far as if you put one back behind, is it going to, because it has a range, it has the one aiming, the range of one aiming one, but then it also has what does it have? 90 range?
Yeah, but I think its aiming range being 10 means that it won't come get you because it thinks you're too far away for it.
But you're speculating at this point, right?
I am. If anyone wants to come peek, you're more than welcome to.
Okay. No, I just wanted to check as far as.
I mean, I'm quite enjoying this bounty in some respects. It's a low pressure bounty, you know. I like the challenge of some of the new kickside bases. I mean, I don't like the points, the way they've been delineated down.
Challenge is good. Losing my fleet for 2,000 points is not good.
Yeah, that's my point. But I don't mind sort of like trying to fathom out targets. Yeah, and I quite like the Sunday for that because you can sit down, chill out, and hopefully you've got mostly what you need. And then just unpicking targets and going, and then understanding how they built them as well. You know? And I like that in a lot of the players' bases as well. Understanding, oh, now I see why they've done that, you know. Because you never know everything, no matter who you are. And there's always little quirks you go, well, that's a dumb thing to do. And then you turn it around and go, actually, no, that's quite a smart idea. It didn't quite pay off this time, but I get what you were going for. And actually, had I done X, then, you know, that would have caught me out. Those sort of things, you know. So sometimes people make it into a base or don't make it into a base, you know, and that sort of stuff. And you know, it's just the way it is. But and some people are very fortunate, you know, with the reload doesn't work and that sort of stuff. So like I said, you know, things like the OP turret weapon there, you know, if utilized in a good area, and I've moved my OP around a little bit so it still works when they come into the channel, you know, linking that with mines, it seems to do quite a good job, and it upsets and unsettles, should I say, a couple of individuals, you know.
Okay. Steve, does this mean that the Badger, unless it can come within one range of a
Within 10 range.
Or 10, whatever, it does not choose to attack something unless it has a clear path to get within 10 range. I'm assuming that's what that means. So clarified, if that's what he meant. Okay.
Did we talk about prize list? Have we gone through that?
We have.
Apart from the obvious.
10. Yeah. The obvious. If you can go to slide 10, Mike. Oh, there was this. No, I was gonna never. Just go to 10. I was just saying, Tyra's. She's smaller now than she was before.
Yeah, that was a good slide you did. I watched that back actually. It was funny. Maybe chuckle.
10. Why can't I get to 10? What's going on?
There
we go. Okay. It just didn't go. Okay.
Okay. Here are the obvious ones. Here's the ones at the top. So did you want to talk about?
Yeah. So, I mean, from my perspective, I mean, people are confused about the PT Transformer still. You know, you don't have to have them all, because if you start obviously utilizing those, you're taking things off of turrets, which is fine, you know, but I've got all my bastions in. If you change the armors to the new armors, you get an awful lot back of base power, which is nice, and you gain a little bit of obvious defensive capability. I've only got 2 of those in, those transforms at the moment, and I've still got plenty of base power left over. Just use the base power where you need it. You don't need to power everything up. You know, certain turrets, whilst they're nice to have in there, they don't need any additions whatsoever. And if you position them right, they don't need much defensive capability. So don't waste your time loading them up.
Well, especially old armor.
Mm.
Old armor costs more than new armor, and even if you wanted to maintain that level of defense, even if you didn't need it, it's still cheaper to go with the newer armor.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. But also some of the turrets then, you know, people put in specials on, and some of the specials are actually quite heavy and that sort of stuff, you know, or put them on the water, and the water tile's actually quite heavy. And you think to yourself, is it really worth putting it on the water? Is it really going to make it any difference? Or might you just leave it blank? You know, I've got 4 or 5 turrets in my base with nothing on the tops at all because I don't need them. And I've not got things that other people don't have, you know. I've not got a single tier 10 turret in, you know, my base. I haven't got, you know, the one from the last bounty, and I've not got any of these mortars in. So
really, you don't like the launcher one?
And again, you got to have them in groups, haven't you? And it's
I
okay.
think one works.
One's okay, but yet again, I don't like the inner range. It's just that a little bit too far for me, which can leave a void. Which can be exploited. And a smart hitter, will look at your base, come in first time, dissect your base, check all the HT turrets, look for any gaps or any weaknesses and that sort of stuff, and then go and sit in that area and potentially take out all your short-range turrets. It's very easy to do with those 2 turrets that are sitting there, those mid and long-range turrets. So whilst you think you're covered,
just goes and looks at a base right here, doesn't even peek it, just starts hitting.
But that's 90% of hitters. But that's 90% of players. The hitters actually spend their time, or get another rally member to go in the day before, have a little look at it, video, highlight, point out all the gaps, and go. And as a collective, a collective alliance, you'll go, oh, there's its weakness there. You'll talk about it, and then somebody will select it and go and take it out. And then once they've cracked that, a bit like a couple of the alliances, once you've cracked one of their bases, then 99% of them are all built the same. And I've seen that happen to a couple of alliances where they've all fallen in one afternoon, sort of stuff, because somebody from one of the big alliances worked it out.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, but yeah, so that volcanic heavy mortar is okay, but I don't. You need to be very careful how you position it. That inner range is a big worry. It leaves a big void, and you can drive a truck through the middle, basically. And the good thing about using this hull is you don't have to be in mortar range to take out people's defense fleet, because obviously those missiles on those executioners are amazing and very powerful. Ship skins, take them or leave them, doesn't really matter. And apart from that, what else is there? There's a few building tokens, not very many, but they're ridiculously expensive at 12.5. I think it is 12,500, isn't it, for one of them? Which I think which is crazy, mate. You can get 3, I think it is, for the building tokens. But why would you want to spend all that? I mean, yes, if you're in a position where you can easily get that many points just to go and get 3 tokens, you probably already got all the things upgraded anyway. And people that are lower down the level aren't really going to bother, because that's the ship, or that's a badger or something like that, just for 3 one-day build tokens, which is just a crazy amount of points, I think, to be honest. The other thing as well, if obviously, warhounds, if you've got exterminators and you don't find you've got enough armors, you're almost in the case of, I wouldn't recycle them, but definitely take the armors off the warhounds and that sort of stuff, because
I've taken my engines off.
Yeah, I've taken most things off now, to be honest, and stripped them back. I haven't quite recycled the ships yet, because I don't need that much extra res, but they've had their day. They can't even get into the first, even if you bring in 2 or 3 of them, which is obviously far too many in a fleet, you can't get in past the mines. They get slowed down, and then the mid-range turrets just annihilate them in seconds. So they've had their day. But on the counter to that, like I said, I think the Overlord's coming to probably the last quarter of its life already.
Really?
Unless they do something, yeah, I think so.
I would have thought it would still be very useful for its slowdown aura.
Useful, useful, but
I don't think 5 Badgers makes sense. I think
no, I'd never do 5 I mean, yeah, we've seen people do that with obviously the subs and that sort of stuff. Sometimes, I don't know what the next defender will be and that sort of stuff, but I do think the Overlord's probably going to be done by September at the latest. I know it's only April, coming up now, but.
But the obvious thing is if they create another defender flagship.
Yeah, I think my prediction, and I've got no idea here, is that the Overlord will continue to be useful until we have another flagship.
Yeah,
but yeah.
People are positioned in the usual places at the moment, and yes, they are helpful with the slowdown effect, but I think the Badger is actually potentially, with short range turrets, if positioned correctly, 2 volleys and 3 exterminators are dead in 2 volleys that quick. That doesn't happen with the Overlord. The Overlord is pepper potter, isn't it? It takes a lot longer, especially if they split the ship, because 99% of people that come in that are good base hitters don't stack their fleets, because they know that's suicide as soon as you do it. And anything else is in the bounty, to be honest, is because you're on catch up and you're not actually at the front end of the PvP or spectrum, and then just get whatever you want to get. So you probably need more points actually than everybody else. But I've actually sitting here with, I can't remember how many bounty points I've got, but I've actually got too many. And I can't find anything that's actually worth picking up now.
We got the upgrade or build tokens for structure.
No, because I'm not going to bother, to be honest, because I've got some stuff that, yes, what am I upgrading at the moment? What is it that's upgrading? It's the Intel Lab. But a 5% bonus.
For upgrade speed, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm doing that one there for the upgrade speeds, that sort of stuff. But I've already done it. It's the last piece of the upgrade for that one now, to be honest. So they only boost it by 5%. So I'm just going to let it sit out. I'd rather help my alliance get some points on Sunday and do some prepping bases for them, so let them catch up a little bit as well. But so independent individuals or people in smaller alliances that want to catch up, there's a few things for them. The bigger guys, it's a pretty poor bounty, I think, to be honest. And it almost mirrors the whole month, doesn't it? 4 weeks of pretty non-eventful, not so interesting stuff, to be honest. That's the way I look at it. And no Easter April 1st fun event by the sounds of it. So
no, they've got one. They just didn't tell us about it till the week before.
Okay, well, let's see what comes, because that might be the highlight of the month, then, mightn't it?
Yeah, I forgot what it's called. It's called
Spring Reckoning again.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, let's see what comes then. Hopefully, it'll be something interesting.
Tropical skins for your mountains.
Great.
Are you happy with that?
Ecstatic. I've seen the snowball. I've seen the snowblind ones. Obviously, they're in their kickside base, aren't they? The snow ones, so it's probably those.
That doesn't sound very tropical to me.
Yeah. No. I'm picturing like coconut palms and whatnot.
Yeah.
You get snow in Hawaii, don't you? We get snow in Africa.
There's snow in Africa.
Volcanoes.
Africa's huge.
Well, exactly, and then it's got tropical bits. It's got
You're
hot
trying
anyway.
kind of hard here.
Yeah. Africa's like is.
I climbed part of Kilimanjaro.
Larger than Europe, including the UK. So yeah.
Considerably.
Yeah.
It's just misdrawn.
Yeah, well,
Or misrepresented, should I say? Not misdrawn. It's misrepresented to make us look better. Africa's vast.
Yes, yeah. So,
I've been all over the bloody place. So, East Coast and West Coast and down the bottom. So, yeah, it takes a goddamn long time to get across Africa.
Well, the road system's not the best, but yeah.
I'm talking about flying. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
It takes hours and hours and hours to get anywhere.
Okay.
Anyway, that's my thoughts on bounty. Sorry, I'll shut up.
No, it's okay. I'm just, I don't know. Is there much else? Is there anything everybody's missing besides, Wednesday when I come back with the Titanic? Or are we all good? Ligo, you got any questions? And again, you can hit the rewind button.
I always love his emote. It always makes me laugh.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. If we don't have anything else to discuss, I guess
I could try a playback if you want with 5 exterminators hitting my base if you wanted that.
Sure.
Let me see if I can find a good one.
Okay. The other thing I found interesting: 5 exterminators in your base, or 5 attacking, or 5 badgers. Okay.
No,
5
five attackers. Yeah. That's happened a couple of times. Let me see what's on playback here. If there's anything worth. I'll go to the battle log first to see who's actually been doing it with 5. He did. In fact, I won't, because I'll be showing. I don't like belittling people, so I won't show it. Actually, sorry.
Naming and shaming.
Well, yeah, I'm not into that sort of stuff. So.
Okay.
But yeah, 5 exterminators is not necessarily the best investment, I think, at the moment. I still think you can. There are other ways of attacking. Like I said, I'm not any elite base hitter anymore, but probably never was, to be honest. But yeah, it's stacking up 5 of them does not help you in any way, shape, or form because they melt pretty quick if you get into the wrong place at the wrong time. So.
Okay. Alrighty. Trying to think if there's anything else we need to discuss, but nothing is coming to top of mind. So
just quickly, actually, FA. So snap poll, and there's a few people in chat there as well. Number of badges people are thinking about putting in their fleet compared to the number of subs compared to the Overlord. I've gone for 2, 2, and 1.
I'm planning on going for 1 Overlord, 3 Badgers, 1 Gatekeeper.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. And that's the thing. It's either going to be 3 Badgers or 2 Badgers, but it's definitely not going to be 1 Badger, is it? I think everyone needs to have 2. I think
you don't need to have 2, but they'll be more useful.
More useful, yeah. I think more useful than Gatekeepers, because the Gatekeepers are a pretty tired thing, to be honest.
Yeah, and I did have I threw out the theory that Derpy didn't like of a lazy Badger.
No, it was a horrible theory.
I still think it works.
You're gonna call that the bloated Badger or something?
No. Well, you put you take advantage of, if you're going to put a 3rd one in there. I have not put this because I don't have a 3rd one.
You want a creeper? That's what you want.
Well, yeah. Basically, that you have 2, and then you have a 3rd one that just sort of you didn't put an engine on them, but you put the specials that add the combat speed. So you get 40, 50 combat speed, and so he shows up to the party late, already has a drink in hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he is providing. You might have killed the other 2, but he's still fast enough to keep up within the 90 range. He's keeping up with that range, as opposed to all sitting on top of the single ship.
Yeah, it's 90 range.
How's he going to be fast enough to keep up if he's slow getting there?
I think the other way around, though. I think once they're into your base and they're doing damage or trying to do damage and nip things in the way, actually you don't need it to be that quick, because what you want is that reciprocating Gatler just getting its wind up.
Yeah.
So long as it's in range and it's doing its fire wind up and that sort of stuff, the thing is, what you don't want to do is to have them extracted out too fast.
And the aura range is still reducing damage. That was more my thing. So it doesn't become the target.
It becomes a hindrance. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're also forced to wait for it to show up to the party.
Yeah. Just a question on the wind up. Is it the number of times it fires or the number of times it hits?
It connects.
It's got to be the number of times it fires, right?
Well, it's based on, isn't it? It only fires if it's. Because that's why it spools down, doesn't it? If it doesn't find anything to hit, it spools down and it resets.
Yeah, no. But what I'm thinking is like Derpy's base there. He's got the Overlord behind the mountains.
By his mountains, yeah, that's fine.
If you put a Badger at the back behind some of the behind all 3 of your gates. But it's behind the mountains, but it would still be reaching the 90 range. It's not going to hit, but at that point, it should be fire. It should at least be firing and spooling up.
Yeah, but it may have gone past the spore and then reset, because it only fires so many volleys and then it winds down, doesn't it, for a period of time?
Yeah.
Which may be counterintuitive,
Yeah. No, I was just checking that.
It's a good question, because the person would know that is probably watching it back again, Derpy's one, because he may be able to do one later on and position it in that way and get someone to hit him, maybe. Because it'd be worth checking. Yeah, but at a valid point, obviously at a cost to him, but it is a valid point. I don't think it's going to be intuitive to good defense, though, because I think if it can't get through, what's the point? And then it'll get to a wind down stage, and by the time they get that far into the base, you could have made a mistake for yourself. It may not, though.
Yeah, potentially. I was just playing about with the position in mind, and I can sit it behind a mountain, but just behind my gates, and it should start winding up fairly early as the attack is still coming through the Overlord's slowdown.
Yeah,
Then
got you.
in the one place where potentially there's a little bit of a hole in mine, if they've killed a couple of the short range turrets, it would then still start and it would actually start hitting it then. And it should still be wound up at that point. So I'll have a play with it in my base as well, and see if it works.
I mean, I've created a bit of a pocket like that where I've allowed the HT turrets have a slightly weaker area on purpose, but that's to lure them in because they're inside the range then of the Badger, and also a disruptor mine, and also the reduction speed aura from the Overlord as well. So there's 3 additional issues there. And then hopefully by the time they get to that zone as well, I've also got a gatekeeper as well, which may surface or may not surface, and they're just outside the range of the short range turrets. So they've got to make a decision. They're just inside the range of the mid range turrets. So there is a decision to make there, either to back out and go back a bit again, or to push forward and then try and push through the short range turrets, which never seems to work for many people anyway. It's a conundrum, isn't it? So as ever, bases are puzzles, aren't they? So, which is makes it interesting in the PvP. It's the only interesting part of PvP, isn't it? As far as I'm concerned, is unpicking bases. Well, for me, it's the opposite. It's building a base that needs unpicking. So, but yeah. Anyway, FA onwards.
And I think that's part of the problem with these new turrets they bring out. You can't just put one. You generally can't put 1 or 2 in. You have to go all in.
Yeah, and watch the faction as well, because some of them don't obviously have a representative faction.
Exactly. Yeah.
And obviously, the ones that are around the OP obviously need the OP special that makes them, do the 200% boost as well over it. Because if that is in the right place and those turrets are just about firing as the person gets to it, you get one heck of an effect off of those.
Yep.
Especially if you're splash-based turrets, if you've got those ones in. So it's really, really helpful. But I'd be interested to see what the next incarnation of short range turrets is going to be like, because that's, I think, is going to be the biggest worry. And I'm hoping they don't come for a long time, because then no one's getting in anybody's base. Because at the moment there is nothing wrong with the short range turrets we've got now.
Well, I'm expecting we're going to get another tier 10 Conqueror next, aren't we?
Should be, yeah.
2 turrets and
I'd like to think so. I think we're deserved of one, I mean, whether it's a launcher fleet or something, that'd be quite interesting. Although that would really annoy them, because obviously then everyone's defensive mountains would serve no purpose whatsoever. But
that would definitely make things like the Overlord.
It would stir the pot. But to be honest, how many people are having mountains out the front? Not so many as it was. People are being a bit more, instead of just putting them all in one big line, because it makes half your turrets not being able to fire on their incoming ships. So people are being a bit more creative and then putting their mountains in places that really only protect the Overlord and nothing else. And that's from sniping, isn't it? So you can work around that.
Yeah, it would be, for a lot of players, it would be cool if they had, both as far as, on the ships, we have the firing arcs listed, but on the turrets, we don't. But in addition to having the firing arcs, for a lot of, because on Discord and whatnot, like, does this fire over mountains? Does that fire over mountains? It's not.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about doing maybe I don't know well Derpy's in, but yeah, just lining up a load of turrets and just putting them behind mountains and that sort of stuff, and literally just as someone just kite by and just go, oh look, that one does and that one does, just to help people out, because there is no indicator. You're right, and the question keeps getting asked and asked and asked.
Yeah.
And all they got to do is say, can fire over mountains, can't fire over mountains. Just a little indicator, or something. Just make it easier for the players.
Sort of like it impacts. What's the auras? Like the friendly auras or the hostile. Impacts. Damn it! What's the
resonance trigger?
Yeah, resonance trigger. Yes.
Oh, that's a classic, isn't it? Yeah.
Mountains, yes or no, and people would figure out, what yes or no means. It goes over mountains, yes. Doesn't go over mountains, no.
But that's the sort of thing, and I did a video myself on base specials and utilization, that sort of stuff. But the thing I didn't cover, when I should have done as well for that one, which people use certain base specials, which have friendly or hostile auras and that sort of stuff. But what I forgot to mention, or maybe I did but didn't do it so well, was obviously if those auras aren't, if the attacker's fleet isn't in the range of those auras, actually they're not going to do anything at all, because it's great to say actually it's got a debuff of X and it does that and that sort of stuff, but it's also got a range limiter. It's not base. Well, 90% of things aren't base wide. So if you don't position those in a clever place, easier if it's a friendly aura, because obviously you can dictate where it's going to be, but you can't always dictate exactly where the attacker's going to sit. And all they got to do is then hover over, or just even look at your especially you put on the various warehouses, etc., and they can work out what those are by the indicators 9 times out of 10, by the indicators above them. So yeah, it's just certain things like that, but definitely the turrets. I think that's the one thing I think that's foxing quite a lot of less intense players. Is does this fire over a mountain or doesn't it? A simple color code of, I don't know, or a tick in a box, yes, no, a bit like sonar, yes or no sort of type thing. For ships, it's the same sort of thing I think for the turrets.
Yeah.
As they bring them out, a simple tick in the bottom corner of the blueprint would do it. Something or other.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Lego asked, did you all discuss I got this offer, Portal level 5. There's seriously, it was like 280.
289 gold for level 5 portals. Apparently, you only got it if you had 0 at level 5, and then they pulled the offer because there were, quote, some issues with it.
I was going to say I could go.
Which I expect was it being too cheap.
Yeah, probably. I could have gone to my baby base and had a look, because I've got level 4s in there, but no 5s.
Yeah,
but it's been pulled. It's been pulled then, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I didn't see it myself, but then again, I've got 3 bastions. So. Though sometimes that doesn't make a difference. Even if you got something, they still offer you the offer sometimes, just in hoping that you might click on it by mistake. I think because it isn't that selective as prescriptive.
Okay. Well, if we don't have anything else, I mean, you guys have a lot of things stored up to talk about, but if there's nothing else, I don't know if they got screwed or but I don't know, but because a lot of people think they get screwed on offers. I don't know. I don't think they go out there trying to screw individual people. But it's all good. But if I don't know, unless we have much more, you guys have had a lot tonight to talk about, which is very good. But if we don't have much else, but maybe you do.
I'm all talked out, mate.
Okay.
I've talked enough.
It's all good. I'm just checking. Don't want to shut anybody down. So alrighty, folks, we'll be back on Wednesday, and I'm going to be efforting over the next couple days to figure out what the Titanic TLC is going to be all about, and hopefully have a picture for you as far as
Breast massages.
We're never gonna get into that. I'm just saying what they said. So it's all good for me. And thank you all for showing up. We'll be back on Wednesday. And again, thanks for showing up again. And best of luck in Bounty. And I do complain about me personally as a person. I do complain about what they're doing with right now it's like Siege Destroyer, but as far as 2 Kixeye, but if you find it, the issue where if you don't do PvP, where you didn't have anything to do for 3 weeks, there's a lot of people that don't have anything to do for 3 weeks unless you do Bounty. It might be a good idea to wherever place you have to post and discuss it, that I think it would be good for the game if they knew that this is not a good idea to put the siege reclaimer or siege destroyer / whatever you want to call it, the siege specific TLC on top of pillage the week before the raid. It doesn't make any sense to my mind as far as helping Kixeye in any way. It just makes me feel like they're clueless as far as what they're doing. So,
well, if they want people to play bounty, they've got to make it easier for the run-of-the-mill person to actually get into it, and that's lowering the points or increasing the points from either the Kix bases or your employee bases, or the old style ones, to get them in there, because the downside is or fix the repair times on the bases, because that's the thing for most of the sort of mid to lower level people, is they don't want to be smashed every 4 hours and have no dock for 2.5 hours out of that 4.
And that's my main issue with bounty. Why I don't participate is because you got a 4-hour bubble and you got 18 hours of repairs. So the first time you get hit, boom, everybody can just run through your base to a certain extent. And then you have 2 hours of repair on your dock, and then you got to repair your fleet. I mean, you have to be, it just doesn't, the math doesn't work out for me personally.
Not for a free player, no. If you're a coin free player, bounty is the worst thing you ever take part in.
Well, even limited coiners still not going to be keen on it.
Well, it's not too bad because obviously you do get limited. You do get a reduction in base repair if you do it in one hit. What is it, 6 coin or 8 coin, something like that? You do when you press the instant fix button. It's considerably less.
Yeah, there's some sort of reduction. I haven't done that in probably a year now, but
I think it's about 6 coin or 8 coin or something like that. It's considerably less than the 30 to 50 coins, but it is if you were doing it in normal time.
Yeah, but still,
but it stacks. It stacks. That's the issue.
If you're doing that, you're still getting hit every 4 hours. So you're spending your 6 or 8 coins every 4 hours to heal your base.
Look, I can tell you now, some people in my alliance go to people to come in and hit them so they get a bubble for the 4 hours, and then they go out and smash out as many bounty points as they can get in that 4-hour bubble.
Yeah,
and they do it on purpose.
When you look
and then they go to work.
Yeah, but when you look at what you get from the points, and now that they're making even the employee bases so much harder by having the new tech in it right from the get-go, if there's a new turret out, surely they should wait for one bounty or something before putting
they're all,
because we start off on the back foot every bloody time, and all it does is, well, as Derby's shown, there's only two employee bases that are worth hitting.
Down to 1 now because they changed to 122 again.
Yeah, but you can, okay. So in that 4 hours, you need to hit 30 if you're going for the low level targets. But the 97 is quite doable. You can prep it, or you can go with 3 XEs.
Every man and his dog's going after the 97.
Yeah, 64, 65 is the same. That's, I know it's up to 1.2 or up to 1.5.
Things if you're wasting 20 minutes,
the locator would help
to find them.
I mean, a locator would help, and I'm talking like the FM. The problem is the locators end up sending you all over the blooming place, which doesn't help. Never shows you the closest thing to it. But definitely a couple of people in my alliance who haven't got the best base defense because they haven't got enough time to play the game to get all the stuff they need. But they do goad people to come in and hit them, that sort of stuff, and then utilize that 4-hour window, and then bank what they can. Particularly, some people don't even start to the Sunday, so they can just get literally exactly what they want, and then just go get the item straight away. And that's what they don't do on the Saturday sort of thing, as they don't do it on the first time the Kixeye bases are out, because you can't reclaim for the first 24 hours. So, and you can still get hit, but it's far better to get it later on. My brother's done the same thing. Starts on a Sunday, that sort of stuff, because he can then get what he wants, and then literally have 0 bounty left over. until the next time he gets to log on. And if he misses one of the ticks where he gets the extra free bit, then so what? Who cares? What difference does it make? So it was all about methodology, isn't it? And how you have to approach the event, and you've got to do it to your advantage, not necessarily to other people's, which is easy to say, but it won't necessarily be free, because yes, you would still need to get Doc back up and running. So hopefully you can hit, the event that's what's the little thing that happens every second day where you can get obviously little tokens. I can't remember what it's called now, but you can get base repair tokens, the 1 hour ones in there, and I stacked up 25 of those over the last month, and they made a huge difference, because then you can repair your dock for free, or you can repair a couple of buildings or something.
Well, they're still a bit random too, aren't they?
They are a little bit.
The Reaver
Not
Tide
every chest you open doesn't give you a.
yeah, but he's talking about the Reaver Tide. The Reaver Tide shows up.
I know what
it's very helpful. It's very helpful.
About.
You'll get about 15, normally 15 1 hour for a whole month. You normally get, because you get them in stacks of 3, you normally get about 15. So 15 1 hour tokens is not bad. And if you save them all for the bounty, at least you can fix your dock. It's better than nothing. If you can literally if you're fortunate enough to be on, and you get yourself hit in bounty, and then literally you can fix your dock and get out there with your own fleet, and then hit some of the bases, or even have someone in your alliance or a friend help you with some of the kickside bases, you can definitely get up to, say, in that 4 hour window, if you can sit down, you can get yourself to a badger, and then just go, right, I'm going to go and win that badger now, and then then after that, I'm just going to wait now to the next time chance that I get hit again, and then I'm going to go out and do it again, sort of stuff, And if that's all you get out of the whole of the bounty, that's not too bad. It's not the end of the world. Base defense is not supposed to be like, yes, a percentage of people, I've got 5 exterminators now, all built, all ranked, all finished, but it's not helped them at all, so there's no point charging ahead. But getting a badger up and running actually will make a big difference to some people, a considerable difference, like Bastions will as well.
Again, it's still the points is the issue, and what you can actually hit, because if the person's sort of worried about, getting their base hit and repairing the dock, well, are they actually going to have the top level hulls to actually kill off the employee bases?
Well, the 97 they can, the 70 they probably can. Although, I know it's only 1k in points and that sort of stuff, but that's still, if you've only got to get 30k, only, hark at me, you do get a chance up to 1.5 on those. Some you'll get the 1, some you'll get the 1.2, and you might be lucky to get the 1.5. It's still
the 97's quite hittable with Warhounds as well. So
absolutely, yeah, it hasn't changed really, to be honest.
I mean, and I'll throw this out: the Kickside employee that designed the 70. Is there a chance they fired that person?
No comment.
On the Wednesday show, I did throw out the fact that looking at that base, you would expect the next week or two that it would be redrawn into the shape of a penis, or that it would say "FU kicks" at the end. If it was an actual player base, that's what you would expect next, correct?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Are you joking or no?
I'll just say no comment.
Okay. All right. So whatever. 70 base. Go ahead and if you want cheap points. All good. Alrighty. Since nobody wants to discuss that, I guess we'll talk to you all on Wednesday. And thanks you all. Thanks for showing up, everybody. And take care. Like, subscribe, and whatnot. And see you on Wednesday.
Hey, stay salty.